I've been doing social media for a long time. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I live stream almost daily. I do a lot on the internet and it takes up a lot of time, and I've seen how it's changed over the years, and right now I just feel so negative about all of the things at once, and this video is going to explain why. My biggest frustrations currently lie with YouTube, but I'm also extremely frustrated with Instagram, which I'm going to start off with, and Patreon, which I'm going to end with. My last video that I posted not even a week ago talked about an Instagram model, Melody Official 3, who had like 3.1 million followers on Instagram, but she was 11. So I talked about how that was weird, her account was down, and I thought maybe, just maybe, Instagram took a stance and removed something that was clearly very inappropriate. Well, they didn't, and now she has 3.7 million followers, so she grew about 600,000 since the last video I posted a week ago. And not only that, the video I made calling this behavior out on YouTube was demonetized. Apparently they thought me even talking about such a topic was not appropriate for all advertisers, but the video of her twerking on stage at 8 years old, talk about a double standard with YouTube, and that's what the biggest chunk of this video is going to be about. I think YouTube hates me, it hates a lot of creators, and I'm really sick of their double standards and the fact that the rules that they apply to certain people obviously don't apply to all. When I post a video, even when it's uploading sometimes, it gets demonetized. Even if I haven't added any tags or any information at all, they're like, nah, this channel probably not gonna like it. Now don't get me wrong, I have no problem following rules. If there were clear guidelines, I would follow them, and if those guidelines were evenly distributed to everyone, I would appreciate that and respect that. But that is not the case. I posted a video not long ago called I Took Ayahuasca. I understand that taking drugs is probably a sensitive topic. I expected that it would likely be demonetized, but I do know that there are other videos on YouTube that are the same, if not worse, than what I uploaded, and those are fully monetized. Because of that, I decided to send in an appeal to YouTube, and they rejected it. They're like, sorry, we reviewed your video, it's not suitable for all advertisers, it's gonna remain demonetized. At that point, if you are signed to a YouTube network, you have one more option. You can reach out to your YouTube network and ask them to contact YouTube on your behalf and try to appeal again. So I did this, and they rejected my network's appeal too, responding saying that, sorry, it's just not suitable for all advertisers. There's nothing we can do. This video will remain demonetized. Again, I would like to reiterate that I have no problems following rules. This is not me having any kind of problem with authority or guidelines. That's all fine. But this video, which is titled Taking Ayahuasca to Heal Addiction and Depression, full episode by Vice, has far more views, and as you can see right here, clearly has ads running on it. And not just that first pre-roll ad, it has multiple ads throughout the entire video. Every time you see that little yellow tick mark at the bottom, that's another ad that they were able to insert into their video. Now I realize that Vice has 10 million subscribers, but don't respond to me and say that it's because YouTube simply doesn't allow the depiction of the use of any kind of drugs, even if it's approaching it from a scientific perspective, if you're not going to apply it to Vice. I made this argument to my network, and they responded asking, why is it okay for Vice to do it, not for her, and silence. And it's not just me that's noticing this problem. As I was compiling this video, Raka Raka uploaded a video saying YouTube hates us. Their entire channel continuously gets demonetized, and when they ask why, it's because, oh, you said a curse word 3 times, but they made a really good point in this video. YouTube is currently funding the production of several different original series titles, and one of them is called Wayne. And in their video, I'll link it in the description, they show that in the first episode alone, many different cuss words were used, many depictions of violence were shown. Like really bad, like a 16-year-old kid got the shit beat out of him in the YouTube original series that they are funding, and that's okay. But if you say fuck 3 times in a video, that's just not okay if you're smaller than Vice or if you aren't an original series funded by YouTube. Now Shane Dawson just came out with a new series on conspiracy theories and things like that, and just as he starts promoting it, YouTube releases this statement saying it's moving to make conspiracy videos harder to find. One of the conspiracy theories about that is that so many conspiracy theory videos are directed at YouTube and the shady things that they might be doing that they just don't want people to find that kind of content. Which now makes this video a conspiracy theory video, which means, hey, it's gonna be even harder to find between that and the instant demonetization that I always seem to get. But I want to come back and talk about the harder to find thing. A lot of times people say, oh, well, you know, it's just because you want to make money that you get hurt that YouTube demonetizes you. And I will say, yes, the financial impact sucks when you put a lot of hard work into something and you make nothing from it. That does hurt a little bit, especially if you're somewhat financially dependent on that kind of thing. But even more of a slap in the face than that, at least to me, is the fact that whenever they demonetize a video, it's so much more difficult for people to find that video. YouTube suppresses the ability to search for that video. It gets pushed down lower and lower in search results, and your viewership just plummets whenever something gets demonetized. So not only are you losing money, but you're losing relevancy. I can't even count the number of times I've tweeted at YouTube asking them to stop demonetizing every video I post. As soon as I post a video, it's demonetized. The most frustrating thing about this is that Team YouTube on Twitter has responded to me so many times with the exact same seemingly automated message of bullshit. It always seems to have this condescending, almost patronizing vibe to it. Like, they act like I know nothing about how YouTube works. It's some generic thing like, well, sometimes the title and tags and thumbnail can affect the ability for us to put ads on your video. Like, no shit, I know if I put like sex and tits or something in the title or the tags or in the thumbnail, I know that that's gonna get demonetized. Like, I'm not stupid enough to not think to check my title and tags and think, maybe that's why it got demonetized. They've also multiple times suggested that I leave a video unlisted and then once it gets approved for monetization, make that public. Well, that becomes difficult for me for two reasons. A lot of times I do commentary on relevant topics, and if I wait sometimes 4 days for YouTube to decide, oh, this is an okay video for us to monetize, the topic has become irrelevant and there's no point in me even posting the video. Another thing that's equally frustrating for me, and I don't know if other creators have experienced this, but I can have a video that is monetized, it's green, it's good to go, and as soon as I make that public, demonetized. I don't care if it's been monetized for weeks. As soon as I make it public, the status can change for seemingly no reason. So it's kind of hard to send in an appeal to an unlisted video whenever there's nothing to appeal because it's monetized until I make it live. But anyways, let's read through some of these super helpful responses from YouTube. The system looks at the title, description, and tags even before the video is live. Thanks for appealing. You'll receive an email update as soon as it's reviewed. In the future, you can upload as unlisted/private and request a review. You can publish once you get an email with the outcome. Clearly you can see from my response that this is not the first time they've messaged me stuff like this because I'm already irritated. And another thing they do a lot of the times is they ask, well, did you send in an appeal? I don't know, did you turn it off and on again? Of course I sent in an appeal. That's like the first thing you do. Is this an automated response? I think I got the same answer last time I tweeted about this problem. I understand that I can try to skirt around the system, even though videos are sometimes demonetized a few hours later, but clearly the system could use some fixing. No? No response. Here we go. Here's a video that got demonetized where I'm talking about panic attacks, because mental health and how to overcome problems is not an okay topic for YouTube. Here's another example of a video that I had demonetized, I sent in an appeal, and didn't hear back for 4 days. Once a video is live for 4 days, or even sometimes 2 days, it's accumulated probably the majority of the views it's gonna get, at least from the initial upload, unless something happens down the line where it's promoted or people find it again or it has some kind of resurgence. For the most part, all of your subscribers are going to see your upload within the first couple of days. So if it takes YouTube 4 days to remonetize a video, that means you have lost everything you're going to make on that video. Just to confirm, have you already appealed? The automated system looks at the title, description, thumbnail, tags, etc. before the video is even live/published. For future videos, you could upload as unlisted or private and request a review. Yes, I appealed and I know what the automated system looks for. I've been on YouTube since 2011. I've also been given the same advice before and explained to you before that monetization stays on while my videos are unlisted or private. As soon as they go live, I get hit. This may happen because a video's classification may change after it's published, as our systems continue to analyze more info from your video. We're continuously working to make this process happen faster. Thanks for sharing the feedback. Why does a video's classification change after it's been published? And it's not even like a long time after it's been published, it's within minutes. Within minutes of my video being live, after it's been monetized, unlisted, fine the whole time, it gets hit and it's demonetized. Now back to the beginning of this where I mentioned making a video on Melody Official 3, the 11-year-old Instagram model, and how that got demonetized. I tweeted about it and this was their response. Again, the automated system may have misclassified the video. It looked at the title, description, thumbnail, tags, etc. If you haven't already, please appeal. So an expert reviewer my ass. So an expert reviewer can take a second look and manually update the monetization status. Thanks. I appealed immediately and it's still yellow. Been doing YouTube a while now, and I know how title tags work. Would appreciate at least that much being understood. I get the same reply every time I tweet at you for help. This is really hurting my channel. We heard you were working to improve this. If it helps, you could upload as unlisted and still can request review. Thanks for feedback. At this point I was so frustrated and just did not have it in me to explain yet again that uploading as unlisted and then asking for a review doesn't necessarily work because it doesn't get demonetized until it's live. I gave up. It's so demoralizing and so frustrating to have worked on a platform for so long and to put so much of your time and effort into something and have it mean so much to you. I mean, if you guys know anything about me, you know that I was going through a really hard time in my life, and choosing to pursue YouTube and moving to LA and doing all of this kind of saved me. It saved me from a really dark place, and I don't know what I would have done without it. So part of me will always be thankful for YouTube, but it's really hurtful because something that means so much to me is just kind of coming back to slap me in the face, and I feel like there's no appreciation from YouTube for its creators that work so hard and put so much of their soul, I hate to use that, but just so much of who you are into something to just have it thrown back in your face, and you know, they make you feel worthless. But I want you guys to know that I will never quit making videos. I don't care if YouTube takes everything that they possibly can from me. I will continue making videos. And part of that is because you guys are so supportive. Like I said, I do live streams and people are extremely nice to me on there and help me out. And honestly, Patreon. I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I do without Patreon. And I'll talk about this more at the end of the video, but to show my appreciation, I'm mailing everybody in a certain tier and above signed Valentine's Day cards. Like I said, I'll get to that at the end, but I really love using Patreon. There's a lot of cool things I post on there, behind the scenes things, photos, just updates, and it's just a fun place to be. But rant, they've really pissed me off lately. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of the whole banning of Sargon from Patreon. If you're not, I suggest you look it up because I don't have enough time in this video to fully explain the entire situation. But Sargon said a lot of really bad things on another platform, which by the way, Patreon promised to not penalize people for what they do on other platforms, but I guess they do. He said some things that people, you know, were offended by, and understandably so, but those things were taken out of context. I still don't agree with the language that he used, but in the context in which he used it, you know, it kind of made a little bit of sense. It wouldn't have been my move, and I wish he didn't do it, but he did. Patreon banned him, and because of that, there was this uproar about the censorship of free speech, which created more outrage with people pulling out because now they feel like they don't want to support a platform that censors free speech, and I get it. But at the same time, Patreon is still the most trusted platform for people to use to fund creators. And at a time like this, when YouTube is just constantly screwing us over every single time we upload a video, Patreon is honestly an essential part of being able to even make videos. What I was making on Patreon got cut almost in half after the whole Sargon ordeal. And I wish the creators of Patreon knew how much that hurt. If there is another platform that arises, I know, you know, that's being worked on. Dave Rubin's doing a thing. I don't know. I'll join it. I'll try, but like right now, it's still Patreon. People trust Patreon with their money. People understand what it is. It's popular enough to have gained enough traction for people to like recognize what that word is and what the platform even does. But I lost a lot from that. And these are just a few of the messages people left in their exit surveys. I cannot support the censoring whims of Patreon. See Dave Rubin, Sargon of Akkad. I hope you Patreon loses even more money. I'm sorry that the creators have to go through this though. I am canceling all support because Patreon is banning creators selectively. Sorry Jaclyn, I'm leaving Patreon due to their treatment of Sargon. Unfortunately, Patreon has begun banning users for politically incorrect speech. I cannot continue to support the platform and will be moving donations to other platforms. I despise your double standards and suppression of free speech. As shown in the banning of Sargon of Akkad, I'll take my money elsewhere. And like I said, those are just some of the messages that I got, but they're all about that, and I took a pretty big hit. And I can't say I blame people entirely. I really do get it, but at the same time, I hope at least until something else is available to use that's big enough that people are actually willing and trusting to use that other platform, I would hope that people are still willing to consider supporting me on there and other creators on there, because YouTube certainly isn't doing us any favors. On a lighter note, like I said, I am mailing people in a certain tier and above signed Valentine's Day cards. This is the one that won. I don't know, you guys voted on Patreon and this is the one you wanted, so I'm signing them, putting them in an envelope and mailing them out to you, and you have to be signed up on Patreon by the end of January. Everybody confirm confirmed at the beginning of February from the end of January will be getting a card. I'll also be selling them online. If you don't want to use Patreon, they're cheaper on Patreon, but if you absolutely refuse to use that website and want to support me anyway, I will have a link to the signed cards in the description below on another site. But I hope to see you on Patreon, and I hope to see a lot of your comments in the comment section below, because this video was pretty heavy. It covered a lot of different topics, and I would love to hear other people's stories and perspectives on this, because like I said, there's some conspiracies going on. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it over, and I'll see you next time. Bye!